Might be wondering what is Benji or which movie it is, or if you have already watched it, you might enjoy. So, as in the first clip, Benji, the, the dog, he was actually stranded, left by his parents because the cop took the the mom. So the other puppies too, and so she was the other one, or I think she was the same guy because she was in the same place the mother was. So I pretty much think that she is also one of them. So let's just keep on be continuing on this story. So Benji was actually watching his mother go. So when he was actually watching like this. So in the next part, he goes in a truck. He was actually just roaming around the street. That's when he found a truck. He climbed on the truck, hid in the sofa in the truck. So the truck stopped about in another city. There he got up from the sofa. So while getting off from the sofa, the man saw him and just did nothing. So he decided to go on, and until once he went and found food. He took food, went to a place full of garbage. He decided to eat it there because it seemed safe. And in that same place, he found this dog. That dog was stranded also because he got lost from his owner, and that means it's also in pretty much of a place, and especially it was hungry, so it barked at him, and Benji was small, so Benji ran away. Why running away? Benji saw this boy, and he was staring at him like this. When he was staring at him, the boy knew that he was hungry, so he decided to give him some food, and he just bought his food, which was strawberries, and he decided to give some to the dog. And so he did give some to the dog. When he was giving some to the dog, he was about to give it to the dog, but the dog ran away. When the dog ran away, he saw where the dog ran away. So he just went there and sat on the side of it and just put 3 strawberries there, and decided to hide there until the dog comes out. So the dog came out in a while and ate it up. That's when he decided to go because the dog was not following him. On the way, he he was going across school. That's when he met his sister. School was already over, but they were walking to Sam's. Sam is a guy who is also called Mr. King in this movie, but he liked the kids, so he just it was enough to they gave enough money to buy the watch, but he still not let them buy it, saying that it's too less. So they kept on adding money for it. While that time, one day he found on one day until they got kidnapped by two people in the same shop. But before that, the dog actually already got in their house. So the dog, this is how he was, the eating scene. So they are already walking to Sam's, and the dog is following him until they reach their house. So he wanted to go to the house. He saw a way to the house, but he needed to jump there, and it was too high to jump. So he saw a trash can nearby, a big one. He stood up like a human and pushed it all the way to the other trash cans. near his house. He jumped on top of it and jumped to the ladder, and he was looking at them through the window. That's what Fruiter said, "Look." And he just asked her to be quiet. That's when she said, "Just look." Then he looked back and said, "What the?" Because the dog had followed him all the way. Wouldn't it be a surprise if you found a stray dog who was hungry and you just gave it some food? And you had already locked the door in your home, and how can it just be in the window? Nothing can jump up that high. And it's not a cat. It's a dog. How can it? And in that height, a cat can't also. So how? How was it there? But whatever. In a surprise, he opened the window and got the dog in and decided to give him a wash. So he got the dog in. This boy's name is Connor or something like that. And while he was doing that, he knew that mom would be home soon, so they had to finish fast. So they had already washed and dried him up, and that's when mom suddenly came. So they hid the dog in the cupboard. When hiding the dog, so the dog actually came out, and it was inside the table, the dining table. That's when he said that he wanted mushrooms. He actually hated mushrooms. So he still took it and he just gave it to the dog in the bottom. So the dog had lunch, or should I say dinner. That's when it was bedtime, so he went to bed. That's when the dog was observing them, put the blankets on and turned the light off. The dog was still not asleep, he was just sitting with them because he was not feeling sleepy. That's when he heard his mother talk, so he went there and sat quietly so that she would not know. When she was asleep, he saw that the blankets had not covered fully, so he went there and the lights were still on, so he went there, pulled the blanket and covered her fully except for the head, and then turned the light off and went to sleep with the boy. But in the morning they got caught, they both were angry, that saying that mom could not could not keep the dog, because he said, how will I manage one more person, and it's not even a person, a dog. So that gave the kids a surprise, and being angry corner or whatever, I don't know, the boy put the dog outside and said, go. And he said in the last, I love you to the dog. We know what I love you refers for, so let's just go next. So this is still sleeping until that same next day. He actually saw them go. He did not see them, he was actually searching for them. So the same time they were angry, so they were going to Mr. King's to get their money back. They said that they did not want the watch anymore. So when they were going to get it, Mr. King said, I sold the watch. He said, that's not fair and I will call the police. Fruiter said that. If you don't know who is Fruiter, it's the little girl. And that's when the two men wearing masks looked back at her and said, and kidnapped them. And he actually threw their masks in the ground. That's when they saw it. And the shopkeeper, was also locked in a room. So they had no option. But when the dog returned back, the man said, who is it? Is it a dog? Then he said, dog, get the key and open the door. Don't give up, little doggy, until he opened the door. And he jumped on the person and freed him. That's when his mother knew that he was kidnapped. Their mother knew that they were kidnapped. So actually Benji was following them all the way. He missed him in one point, but as he was in the forest when they found him, strawberries. He was still leaving track of strawberries behind him. So he decided that to sniff the strawberry if it was his owner. He sniffed it and it was his owner, so he decided to take go where the sniff takes him. So he followed it until he actually reached the boat. And then he went back to get the people, but before that a dog was there, another dog. That dog was bad and belonged to the kidnappers, so they and one person also was chasing him, the second kidnapper, and he trapped all the two kidnappers and one dog, but they had another entrance. So when they had another entrance, it was actually a underwater transport system. So they decided to go. They did not know that until the black dog that I showed you before. This dog came back. He made the dog chase him with food until they reached that place, and he asked him to do this for him. The dog did it until they found the owner. But when they found the owner, they had already seen the owner, but as I said, the dog that chased him before was still there. So he made the dog chase him till a little place, a puddle. He made the dog, he hid there and the dog jumped in the puddle. That made the dog totally wet and sad, and it came out and slept there. And the black dog, this dog, put his hand on his neck, and until it was totally on his will, that's when the police officers arrived. So if I have said something about the police officer, the dog actually went back to get their mom in the first place, and they made him chase it. And the police officer said this thing to his mom. This van was stolen about 2 days ago, but I have not showed the van where it is right now. And it often goes there, and the dog also, he said that, and he said it can't be a coincidence or something like that, it must be something. And she decided to go back to the house. She went back to the house, and there both of them saw the open thing, and the police officer said that this was not open before. So they went inside and said that it is underground transport system. So they decided to go to the other end of the transport system, which the police officer knew. So they went out of the house and drove all the way till there. That's when they met the first kidnapper. He did not know. He said, "Have you seen both of these kids?" So they said that. He said no, but he was in that boat while. Then the man disappeared who was fixing something of the boat. He was actually bending something there. There he said, "Hey Eddies!" The police officer started to run, but that's when these two dogs, the bad dog and this good dog, who was brought here with food, stopped them until the police officer caught them. The main thing was now the Benji, the dog who has this owner, was going towards the boat the owner was. That's when I was trying to get there, and the second kidnapper was trying to cut the wire, or let me say the rope that was tying the boat there. So, but before he could do that, he pounced on the man. The man fell in the river, but he hurt himself badly by hitting something made of metal, or let me say iron, on his head. That fainted him, and he could only live if he wanted to live. So it was upon his decision. So when Connor found him, he took him to dry land immediately. But guess how did they escape? They were already freed by the second kidnapper. And actually, there was another man driving the boat who was another kidnapper, but who was not a kidnapper, I mean, but was helping the kidnapper escape. So they both were bad men. So when they escaped, uh, they were all loving him. The love from his mother also was, who had shouted to him in the first place, saying that you just wasted my whole time bringing me to this place. First of all, because he actually brought the police and them all to the place with by making them follow them. But that's when the mother realized that they were actually there, but they had gone somewhere else already. And that's when they found the underwater tunnel, and the kids were freed with mom. Now, with all that love, Benji decided to live, and he lived. He was actually already dead, but he even stayed. He became alive with the power of love. And the police officers mainly, they caught the thief, and they were already arrested. And there is this song saying that everywhere he went he felt love. But after that he was playing with this black dog all the time. So he's trying to say that everywhere he went he felt love. So that was all thing I can say in this movie, and so that's all. Bye.